This is Jed Jones of JCJ Interactive. What is SEO? So let's start by thinking a little bit about the internet, and that's represented here on the right. The internet's really just a connection of a bunch of computers and servers and similar devices like your smartphone or PDAs. And the internet is, obviously enormous. And although most of us can't actually see the computers, except for maybe our own out there, we can see websites that are, in a way, representation of those computers or of companies or people. But it's all what we call the virtual world. It's a virtual environment of electricity and light and sound, and yet, even though it's this kind of, they call it the internet cloud, and it sounds sort of ambiguous and amorphous and kind of confusing or hard to understand, it's actually pretty straightforward as to what this all is, and there are rules as to how the internet works and how it behaves. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today, and there's a lot of dimensions, of course, to the internet, and we can't cover everything here in this short video, but this is a very, very high level, very, very simple and simplified overview and explanation of how the internet works. So, in most cases, unless someone's directly typing in the website name or has it bookmarked, a lot of people find websites via search. So they actually do a search on a search engine like Bing or Google or Yahoo or MSN or many, many of the other thousands of smaller search engines out there. And, usually people type in what we like to call a keyword to do that search. And when they do that search, as you can see in this picture here, we've got these computers and you've got a couple of arrows. Those are pointing to this kind of half silo figure here, which is representing a search engine in this case. And a search engine is kind of like your guide to the internet, as most of us know. And it's a way of organizing information. And the search engine's job really is to try to serve up the right content at the right time based upon a keyword search that someone does. So here's this searcher or user or visitor or whatever you want to call them down in the bottom kind of center of the slide here. And we can see this person wanting to do a search, and let's pretend that he or she wants to do a search about houseplants, okay? So they turn to their trusty search engine, they type in houseplants and hit search or submit. And what happens is, in a split second, as represented by this little lightning bolt here, because it happens so fast, this search engine immediately returns some results, what we call search results, on a search engine results page, which is what most people refer to as a search engine. Really, the search engine is those servers in the background doing all that work, but the search engine results page is what you'll see showing you the ranking for each of these. Now you can see in this case you've got 3 websites, and generally there are 10 search results per page for most major search engines. And obviously you'd rather have a number 1 or number 2 ranking than a number 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 or 20 or 30. 1, 2, and 3, none of those are too shabby, but you would, the higher the ranking, the better, and that goes without saying. Research shows that most people do not go beyond the first page, and by far most people click the first couple of results. Now, people are not robots, and people look at each link, and sometimes if you don't find what you need, you're gonna keep looking down the page. But the search engine's job is to do everything it can to connect you with the right content at the right time. So keep that in mind. That's the most important thing. If you understand that concept, then you understand what SEO is about and how to do SEO. So it makes decisions, and we're going to find out a little bit more about how it makes those decisions and upon which criteria it bases those decisions. Let's pretend this is your website, and you got some visitors. You got some people here represented by those little blue people. Those are visitors. And those folks are, coming to your site maybe once a day, once a week, once a month, or once in a lifetime. Maybe they don't ever come back. But you've got some what we call traffic. You've got internet traffic. You've got people coming to your site. But, you want to get more people to your site. So there's, I like to break the internet and especially search engine optimization down into 2 major buckets of activities. One is all those things you do to your site itself. Okay, we'll talk about that in a moment. And number 2 is things you can do or other people do off-site, meaning other websites that are actually linking to your website. So let's talk about that for a moment. So this is a typical website, and again, you might have 3 pages on your site or 5 pages of content, and most people just kind of throw content onto their website without really thinking much about it from a search engine perspective. It's mostly about what you want to write about, your products or services or whatever you're promoting. And these other screens here on the top right of your screen here are going to be other websites, and you can see a couple of these other websites have arrows linking over, and all that's representing there is what we call backlinks. And a backlink is simply another website linking to your site. So these are the main components, I should say, or elements of a good search, overall search setup. So what can SEO do to help this? Okay, well, to get more users, which we see more users here, we can have more pages on our site. That's one thing we can do. If you notice, the pages that were added here just a moment ago were blog and articles, and those are both examples of content that gets refreshed and updated pretty regularly. Most people will update their blog at least once a month, if not more often, and articles also tend to get updated more often than other pages of a site. So you're going to want more content on your site is good. And also more links. You want more people to link to you. That's really important. And a couple of ways to accomplish those things. You can see down there in the red, that's all the on-site factors. That has to do with having the right content, the right amount of content, and the right meta tags. And meta tags are something that your search engine, your browser sees, like your whatever browser you're using, Safari or Firefox or Internet Explorer or many of the other browsers out there. Google Chrome is another one. Or you may be, meta tags are visible in some respects, but without going into too much detail, think of meta tags basically as content that you don't see in most cases. None of these things by themselves are going to shoot your website up to #1 ranking for a given keyword, but they're all important. And up on the top right here, you see other elements, which are basically backlinks. How many people are linking to you? So you want a lot of backlinks, meaning you want relevant backlinks. You want to have quality backlinks, and you want to have high page rank backlinks. Now, page rank simply means a term that Google has come up with for determining how popular or how important a website is. SEO, is it hard? No. Do you have to know what you're doing? Yes. Some people can successfully do SEO on their own, and I encourage that. Sometimes they'll come to a firm like ours to get help for various reasons. And most just for the same reason you tend to go to a barber to get your hair cut and tend to go to your accountant to have your accounting done or your taxes done. Some of these things people could probably pull off by themselves, but will it be as good? Will it be as effective? That's usually the question. So any good SEO campaign, and again, breaking this down to its simplest terms here, is going to entail a few things. It's going to, remember we talked about the on-site factors and the off-site factors. So on-site, or this is all about your website. We're talking about optimizing your site, and we're talking about doing that first of all by deciding which keywords you should optimize your site for. That's really, really important. That's one of those things that I cannot emphasize enough times. But really, it's really key that you get the right keywords to start out with. Now, the next thing you want to do is create interesting and unique content on your site that entices other people to want to link to you. So nothing like getting people to link to you because you have such an interesting site. And at the end of the day, isn't that what good internet experience is all about, is having good content and a good experience? So that's really important. You want to make sure there's enough content on your site that's well optimized for keywords that you've chosen. And we'll talk a little bit more about optimization in other tutorials, but you want to have the right optimized content. And you also want to make your content updated frequently. And again, the off-site factors, these are things that are happening off of your website. There's a number of ways you can get backlinks. So that's a really, really brief overview of SEO in a nutshell. If you have any questions, feel free to visit our website. There's a blog there that's updated fairly frequently with new information. There's some free SEO tools there. If you would like to talk about an SEO campaign for yourself, for your company, for someone you know, feel free to give us a call, or again, contact us via the web form on our website.